Hey loves, welcome to this tutorial. I hope we're having a good day and we're about to have a swell time. So we're going to be working with this particular stitch pattern. It's a type of filet lacy pattern that is made up of two sort of like diamond flowery patterns that I've decided to call bloom and an intermission V stitch in between them. So the basic layout of this poncho is going to be one very long rectangle, and I'm doing this because I want this poncho to be as versatile as possible. I want to be able to style it in any way. So we're going to be making a very long rectangle and then joining at the ends or at a side to create the neckline. For our materials, I'm going to be using baby yarn today. It's equivalent to a weight 2 yarn. And with this, we're going to be using a 3.5 millimeter hook. I'm using a 3.5 millimeter hook because it's recommended for this type of yarn. We're also going to be using our scissors. We're going to be using our tapestry needle to weave in our ends and a stitch marker. Okay, so in terms of measurements, I'm going to be using the piece that I'm already working on. You first of all measure the width of the poncho according to your desired length. For the initial way I want to wear this poncho, I decided to take my measurements from my shoulder to a little bit under my bust, which is like 18 inches, because that's where I want it to reach me in terms of coverage on my arms. So in order for us to get the precise measurements, we're going to be measuring per motif, and by motif I mean one of this bloom design here together with a V intermission stitch that I just decided to call it that because I don't know what to call that. So the actual measurements for the motif and the intermission measures about 3 inches, and we're gonna add an extra one motif because that's where the beauty of the design comes into play. So we're gonna actually take note of this extra motif, which gives an extra 2 inches. So I'm going for 18 inches in width. Now I'm going to count how many motif and V intermission stitches I need without this extra one. We're gonna fold away the extra motif and just make it into 3 inches. This will give us one set. The next 2 inches is 2 motifs. The next one is 3, 4, 5. Now at 5, it's 15 inches. And I said I want to go up to 18 inches. So because I have to consider this extra motif, because it's going to give me 2 extra inches, I'm just going to leave it at 5 sets plus this extra motif. So that's going to give me 6 motifs in total. My calculation is going to be based off of the number of motifs that I need, but I'm not going to add an extra one to complete 18 because there's already one motif extra, which makes it complete 18. So for us to get the accurate number of chains that we'll need for this, the motif and the V intermission stitch makes up about 18 chains. It's going to be 18 times the number of motifs that you want to make. In my case, it's 5 motifs plus 13. 13 is that extra motif that you have here. So my own calculation is going to be 18 times 5 plus 13, which makes my total to be 103 chains. Let's say you want your own wig to be about like 15 inches. You know that you're going to make 4 motifs plus this one here. So your calculation is going to be 18 times 4 plus 13. I hope that is a bit clear. So the basic thing is just bear in mind that there's an extra motif that gives you 2 inches, which is the plus 13 in the calculation. So just put that at the back of your mind. Plus also give grace to your yarn because your yarn might stretch. I don't know the type of yarn you're going to use, but we're going to be blocking this project. So I might still have 1 inch of a stretch to this project when it's blocked. So to begin, we're going to make a slip knot. And like I said, we're going to be making 103 chains to start my project. So now to begin, we're going to make 2 extra chains. And for row 1 only, the 2 extra chains count as a stitch. For subsequent rows, the extra turning chains will not count as a stitch. So we're going to make 2 chains, and then we're going to put 1 double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. 1 double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So basically that's 2 stitches. Then now we're going to put the double crochet all the way down the chains. So row 1 is 1 double crochet in each chain. So I have done my row 1, it's double crochet. So for row 2, we're going to now chain 2 and turn. This chain 2, they're just the turning chains. We're not counting them as a stitch. So we're going to be doing our next work into the same stitch. So now we're going to make 13 double crochets starting from the very first stitch. So that's 1, 2. So this is 13. That's 13 double crochets. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to create the V intermission stitches. So to do that, we're going to chain 1, then we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. So we're skipping 1, 2, and then we're going to double crochet into 3rd stitch here. So chain 1, skip 2 stitches, and double crochet into 3rd stitch. Next, we're going to chain 1 again, and into that same stitch, we're going to make another double crochet. This creates the V shape that we're looking for. To finish this off, we're going to now chain 1, skip the next 2 stitches, then put a double crochet into the 3rd stitch here, like so. So now we have this. So we're going to repeat that pattern, 13 double crochets and the V intermission stitch. So we've done 1 double crochet here. So we're going to do 12 more, making 13. Now this is 13. So I'll show you again. To make the V intermission stitch, we're going to chain 1, skip 2 stitches, go into the 3rd stitch, make a V, which is a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the same stitch. So end that, you're going to chain 1, skip 2 stitches, and continue on with 13 double crochets. So we're going to keep doing this till the end of the row. I'll meet you at the end. At the end of this row, you should have 13 stitches ending the row. So this is my last double crochet. This is what we're having now. Created the first row of the V. So to start the next row, we're going to chain 2, turn our work. We're going to start creating the bloom pattern. To begin with, we're going to make 6 double crochets in the first 6 stitches. 1, 2, next we're going to chain 2. We're skipping 1 stitch, and making another 6 double crochet from the next stitch. 1, 2, and 6. Now you can see that we've arrived at a V intermission. So we're going to create another one. And to create one, it's the same pattern as chain 1. We're skipping this previous chain 1 here, and then we're going to be inserting another V in between the previous V. So 1 double crochet in between that V, chain 1, another double crochet in the same V. Then we're going to chain 1. We're skipping the previous chain here, and we're creating 6 double crochets in the next 6 stitches. So basically we're going to be repeating 6 double crochet, chain 2, skip 1, 6 double crochets, and then another V, on and on like that. At the end of this row, we would have had 6 double crochets to end it. So basically, however you start the row should be how you end the row. Now to start row 4, as usual, we're going to chain 2. We're going to make 4 double crochets in the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to skip 2 stitches. You can see that there's 2 stitches before the previous chain space that we created here. We're going to skip those stitches, and we're going to put a single crochet in this previous chain space here. So with chain 3, we're going to skip these 2 double crochets here, and then we're going to put a single crochet in this chain space here. Like so. And chain 3, we're going to skip 2 stitches again and make 4 double crochets in the next 4 stitches. Basically like the same thing we just did, but a bit continuous. 1, 2, 3, 4, and as we get to the 4th stitch, we've arrived at a V intermission. So we're going to create a V intermission. And to do that, you know the drill by now. Chain 1, skip the previous hole, skip the previous chain space, create a V in the previous bead. We're going to make 4 stitches again. We're going to make 4 double crochets and just repeat the pattern all the way to the end of the row. 3, 4. To show you again, we're skipping these 2 stitches, we're chaining 3, and then putting a single crochet in the previous chain 2 space. We're chaining 3 again, skipping 2, making 4 double crochets, and we'll arrive at another V intermission and we'll create that. So We're just going to repeat that till the end of the row. So this is what we're having now. You can see that the flower pattern is beginning to form. For row 5, we're going to start by chaining 2, turn our work. We're going to make 2 double crochets in the first 2 stitches. One, 2. Next, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. You're going to skip the next 2 stitches and single crochet in the previous chain 3 space. A little bit like what we did in the previous row, except that we're making 2 double crochets, not 4. If you sort of notice, this is like a multiple of 2. We started with 6, then we moved to 4, now we're at 2. But anyway, we're going to skip 2 stitches at single crochet in this previous chain 3 space. Next, we're going to chain 3 again. We're skipping this single crochet that we made in the previous row. And then we're single crocheting in the next chain 3 space. Then we're going to chain 3 again. We're skipping the next 2 stitches and then making 2 double crochets in the following 2 stitches. You will notice that we've arrived at AV intermission, so we're going to create another one. So chain 1, work AV in the previous V, chain 1. We're gonna make 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches. Chaining 3. We're skipping the next 2 stitches and putting a single crochet in the previous one. Chain 3. Another single crochet in the previous space there. Skipping 2 stitches. Chain 3. And double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then we'll arrive at another V, and then just repeat the pattern that way. This is what it's looking like now. To start the next row, chain 2. So for row 6, we're going to start by making the first 2 double crochets in the first 2 stitches we can see there. And we're going to make 2 more double crochets into this previous chain 3 space here. So that's 4 double crochets to start the row. 1, 2. What we have. Next, we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to single crochet into this previous chain 3 space here. So basically, we're skipping this previous single crochet. We're going to put 1 single crochet into the previous chain 3 space. And we're going to chain 3 and make 4 double crochets, with 2 being in the previous chain 3 space that we can see there. That's 1, 2, and then 2 more in this stitches that we can see here. When we're done with that, we'll see that we've arrived at a V intermission stitch. So we're gonna create another one here. Chain one, make a V. Next, we're gonna repeat the pattern again. So that's 4 double crochets with two being in the two stitches we can see here, and the remaining two in the previous chain three space that we have here. Next, we're gonna chain three and put one single crochet in the next chain three space there. Then we're gonna chain three again and put 4 double crochets, two being in the previous chain three space. Then we'll see that we'll arrive at another B. Uh, we're going to continue the pattern all the way to the end. Now for round 7, which is the last round, we're going to chain 2, turn our work. We're going to make 6 double crochets in the next 6 stitches. 4. You see that the remaining 2 were going to end up in the previous chain 2 space here. So we're going to make this here. That's 6 double crochets. Next, we're going to chain 1. We're going to make another 6 double crochets starting from the previous chain 2 space. So we're putting 2 in the previous chain 2 space, just like we just did. And then 4 double crochets in the remaining 4 stitches. Then we're going to arrive at a V intermission stitch. So we're going to create another one. Then we're back to another one. So again, let me make 6 double crochets with the first 4 being in the first 4 stitches that we can see there, and the remaining 2 being in the previous chain 3 space that we can see here. So that's 2 here. Next, we're going to chain 1 and repeat that. So 6 double crochets with 2 being in the previous chain 3 space, and the remaining 4 being in the 4 stitches that we can see here. So we're going to repeat this pattern for this row. That's 6 double crochets, chain 1, 6 double crochets, and a V intermission, and we just continue to the end of the row. I really hope that I sort of explained this well, or at least some great understanding. If you don't understand any points in the pattern, please let me know so I can reach out to you and explain further. I'm actually trying to explain it as best as I can while also struggling to breathe because I'm 38 weeks pregnant right now with like real contractions, and I can actually give birth any day now. So I'm counting down. I'm just struggling to breathe a little bit. Yeah, let me know if at any point you're confused or if you can't see what I'm doing. Let me know how I'm doing with this tutorial. My aim is to get better in not just skill, but also in tutoring. Okay, so let me meet you guys at the end of this row. This is what we're having. So we've created a line of the whole design, and you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of the blue motif plus an extra one, which I mentioned in the beginning. So you're just going to repeat from row 2 to row 7. You're not going to add row 1. Row 1 is just double crochets. It was for us to be able to start the pattern. I think I want this to be about 57 or 58 inches long. But what do you guys think about this switch pattern? It's very pretty. Okay, so I am actually done with my full panel now. So this whole thing was actually measuring about 60 inches in length. And just a pro tip, as I was making every few rows, I was actually stem blocking it along the line because I noticed that the yarn is quite stretchy. So I didn't want to overdo my stitches. I didn't want to go past, where I wanted it to be. And even though I initially planned for this to be 58 inches, it turned out to be 60 inches. And I'm actually still happy with that because it doesn't really have so much of an effect on the poncho. So this is where I finished off. And I want this to be identical to the other end, which is how I started. So I'm going to add 2 more rows here, and it will coincide with row 2 and then just 1 full row of double crochet so that it will match this first one. So to finish off the panel, I'm going to do row 2 and then 1 extra row of double crochet only. So I'm done with the full panel. As you can see, the beginning basically mirrors the end. So the next thing we're going to do now is to join and create the neckline. We're going to use our shoulder measurements, like shoulder to shoulder. And for me, it's about 17.5 inches, or let's just round it up to 18 inches. But I don't want this to be loose. I want it to be a bit fitting on my shoulders. I'm going to reduce my measurement by like 2 inches. So instead of 18, I'm going to make it 16 inches. To make the neckline, we're now going to fold it into, I'm going to fold it in half first. This way. To make sure it's not twisted or anything. The pattern is basically like reversible, so you can pick any side that you want. I'm going to pick where I was crocheting from already so that I don't cut off my yarn and I just continue from there. So, like I said, my shoulder to shoulder measurement is about 18 inches, but I'm going to make it 16 so that it's not too loose on my shoulders. So I'm going to measure 16 inches. I'm going to join from the base to where my 16 inches ends. And that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 motifs. So I'm going to mark where my 5th motif is. That's where I'm going to sew up to. I'm going to sew from the base to where my 5th motif is. So make sure you align your motifs properly. That's why we're counting it so that the panels are like identical and you don't miss any one gift motifs. You're gonna mark that. I'm going to use multiple markers because I'm planning to sort of put this on right now and see if the measurements is okay for my shoulders. Just make you understand more. We're going to be joining some here, single stitch marker, and this will be an opening for our neckline. So to consent this, I'm just gonna put this on. Okay, so as you guys saw, it's perfect for how I want it to be worn. So we're going to be joining and creating the neckline now. So to join this, we're just going to use either a single crochet join or a slip stitch join. I usually prefer single crochet joinings because my slip stitches are always tight somehow. So it just begins to stretch and I don't want to go through that right now. So don't forget, establish the number of motifs that is equivalent to your measurement so that you'll be able to have a more accurate joining. So I'm just gonna continue where I left off. This is where you can decide to choose where you want the front and the back to be. I'm joining the two panels together. Start with a slip stitch. So to make this more uniform, I'm going to be putting 2 single crochets into every edge so that it's more cohesive and more defined. Okay, so we're at the 5th motif now. So we're just going to continue joining up until we get to the beginning of the 6th motif to complete the joining. So in my opinion, ideally, slip stitch join looks more put together than a single crochet join. If this was like a custom order, I would have used the slip stitch join instead of single crochet join, so it looks more professional. This is my piece, so I'm not gonna stress myself too much. So we're at 16. As you can see, the scope's at 16 inches. Round it up and hang one and fasten off. And there we have the joining. So this is going to be the back, obviously. So we've created the neckline, and this allows us to be able to wear this anyhow we want and style this anyhow we want. So I made this hat a while back with the same yarn, and I had this multicolored version of this yarn and made ruffles. So I was thinking of putting ruffles on the poncho to sort of make this into a set. Let me show you guys what the poncho looks like on its own. I'm seriously considering putting the ruffles. But in the meantime, you should go over your work, breathe in your ends, snip, snip, use a lint roller to remove all lint. So I'm honestly not sure if I should just leave this as it is or if I should still put ruffles down here. I don't know if it's be overkill, but I really love the hat with it. Let me show you guys up close what the design looks like. You can also style it anyhow you want. So you can have your poncho like this also. Let's try styling it to the front. Here's this V neckline. So let me know what you guys think about this poncho. I honestly am so confused about whether to put the ruffles. I feel like with the poncho alone, the ruffle will be a really nice touch. But with the hat, it might be overkill. But I really love wearing this with the hat. Oh, I look so pretty. For now, this is what I'm gonna go for. I'm just gonna leave the poncho as it is. Let me know your suggestions or what you guys think. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in my next video. Be kind, stay beautiful, love truly, and God bless you.